Okay, we're going to, today, we're going to talk about getting traffic from Facebook that is free. Now, one of the things you need to know, there's only so many ways that you can drive traffic to your landing pages or to your blog or wherever you want through Facebook. And free traffic used to be something that everybody tried to get, but there's been some changes. It's not as easy as it used to be, but it can still be done. I get free traffic all the time. So we're going to cover some basics today, and then later on we'll discuss some more advanced things, but today we're going to deal with some basics. Now, when it comes to getting free traffic, you get it mainly from posting on Facebook. We all understand that. And so when you're posting, you have two basic goals when it comes to traffic. One is what we call organic reach, and organic is just another way of saying free. And that is the number of people who will see your posts. So you want to get as much organic reach as possible. The other is organic clicks. When people click on your posts, that's how you drive traffic to a web page, a blog, or wherever you want to send that traffic to. Before you post, if you're going to be in marketing, and I do highly recommend that you use your business page. Now, last week we did a lesson on the business page. I recorded it. It didn't come out too well. I'm going to re-record it, and then I'm going to paste it so that you can review that. However, one thing you need to know is your audience. Who are the people that you want to market to? You need to know what they like. You need to know what motivates them. You need to know their basic age groups. You need to know, is it mainly women or men? You need to know if they are health conscious, if they're entrepreneurs, or a combination. And so you really have to know your audience. You have to feed your audience. And what I mean by that, you have to give them stuff that they like. You've got to post stuff that is of interest to the audience that you are marketing to. And then you have to engage them. In other words, you have to get them to respond to what you're posting. The more you can get them to respond, the more effective your marketing, your free marketing is going to be. Now, this is something you need to understand. Images trump text. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I mean that when you have images are far more important than the text. In fact, there are some studies that show the text is almost irrelevant compared to the image. On the other hand, videos trump images, in that normally if you're using a video, Facebook will give you more relevancy. In other words, they'll show it to more people. But then there's this other rule. It doesn't always work. Sometimes text by itself will get more effects. Sometimes images will be more effective than videos. So this is not a hard and fast rule, but as a general rule, you need to understand. So you should always try to have images or videos, but experiment. Now, content. You have to have content that is relevant to your audience. And here's some general categories that you need to kind of focus on. Humor, controversy, education, inspiration. These are kind of the areas that people engage with. However, you do need to be careful when it comes to controversy. But humor, controversy, education, inspiration, those are things that people love. And so your images need to either, or your videos or your text needs to evoke humor, controversy. It needs to teach somebody something, and it needs to be teaching things that your audience wants to learn, or it needs to be inspirational. And in our industry, the network marketing industry, inspirational quotes are extremely popular because network marketers, people that market online, love to be motivated. Now, big square images and big square videos work best. My favorite format is either 850 by 850 by 850 or 1080 by 1080. Now, if you don't know what that means, we're going to be doing some lessons specifically on how to design a square image or video, okay? And I will make those figures clear. However, 850 by 850 and 1080 by 1080 just means it's a square. The bigger the square, the more clarity, okay, your images will have. But 850 by 850 works really well. However, one more thing you need to be aware of, Facebook is constantly changing. So experiment often. I also find that sometimes when I do an image that is not exactly a square, but very long, because you can do that, I'll get a greater response. But another reason that I stick with the squares, though, is because I can post these images Instagram. I just had to remember that word, Instagram. So the same images that you use on Facebook, if you do the squares, can be posted on Instagram, and the same applies to the videos. However, the videos have to be under 60 seconds for you to put them on Instagram. Now, this is just some general rules when you use, especially when you're using videos. Keep it short. 30 seconds or less as a general rule. Use captions when it makes sense. Now, if you're using quotes, which I use a lot, you don't have to worry about captions so much. But the reason you want captions is because a lot of times people watch videos with the sound off. And when they watch it with the sound off, if you have captions, then they can understand what that video is about. And even though I'm saying 30 seconds or less, I do have some that go much, much longer. But it really depends on what you are doing. And as a general rule, the shorter the better. Now, I want to make this clear. This does not apply to when you're using Facebook Live or what I call a talking head video. A talking head video is where you record yourself speaking. And you can do this either through Facebook Live, or you can record yourself and post it later. In these cases, these rules don't apply. In fact, sometimes, especially with Facebook Live, the longer the better. But basically, with a basic post, and if you're using video, you want it to be short. In fact, 15 seconds. If you are in the Now Lifestyle group or the Pure Leverage group, you might have seen some of my videos. They're really short. And that's on purpose because I get a lot of exposure when I do that. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about reach. And what we mean by organic reach, that means that Facebook is going to show your content to more eyeballs. More people will see it. The more likes, the more shares, and especially the more comments that you get, the more relevant Facebook will consider your posts. The more relevant Facebook considers your posts, the more they will share them to others. Now, the average person statistically has about 200-300 friends. So each person who Facebook shows your post to, approximately 200 to 300 other people are going to see it. If they show it to 10, then you're going to get about 3,000, 2,000 to 3,000 eyeballs on your post. So the more you can engage, this is what I mean by engagement. You want them to like your post. You want them to comment on your post. You want them to share your post. And you would think that sharing would get you more link juice with Facebook, but it's really the comments, because Facebook believes if someone takes the time to comment, then that means it must be more relevant. Now, we're going to talk about the traffic. Traffic is based upon clicks. The more clicks you get, the more traffic you're going to get. Now, when I'm talking about clicks, I'm not talking when someone clicks on an image and it shows you the big image. That's not what I mean. I mean when there's a link in your post and they click it and it takes them somewhere. It takes them maybe to your Now Lifestyle landing pages, or it takes them to your blog, or it takes them to another page that you might have set up in Facebook. Okay? So the more clicks that you can get, the more traffic that you're going to get. So you want your post to be shown to as many people as possible, and at the same time, you want to have links in your post that people can click, because that's the only way they're going to get to where you want them to go. Now, unlike the Facebook ads, when you run an ad, the images and videos in posts are not clickable. In other words, they don't, if you click them, they're not going to take you to another page, like a landing page or a blog. When you run ads, on the other hand, they are clickable. And when they click on an image, it'll take them to wherever you are directing them to. And then in the videos, at the end of the video, there's going to be a link that they'll be able to click embedded within the video that will take them to whatever page or place you're trying to take them to. Now, in the advanced training, I'm going to show you how you can actually take an ad that you run and post it like a post. That's very advanced. But when you do that, then you will have clickable images and clickable videos, and you're going to get far more effect if a person can click the image and it takes them to your web page, or it takes them to your Now Lifestyle landing page, or wherever you're trying to send that traffic. For the most part, all your clicks are going to come from the written copy. Now, remember, the written copy is not as important as the image for getting people's attention. But if you want traffic, you've got to have written copy, and you've got to have a link. So if you put your link, that HT, you got to use that HTT colon / because www doesn't always work. But when you do that, they can click that, and that link will take them to your website. So you want clicks. You want to have that in there. And this is an ancient argument: long copy versus short copy. In other words, do you want to have just a small amount of text, or do you want to have a lot of text? Now, before I deal with that, you do need to understand how Facebook tracks your clicks. One, they have what they call click-through rates, and the other is what they call we just call it see more clicks, or Facebook calls them other clicks. But they're really, to get a clear understanding, it's see more, and I'm going to explain what that means in a second. Now, click-through rate is basically the link clicks divided by post impressions. This is based upon a study that was done, this chart here, that was done by NPR. And the results that NPR got are pretty much consistent across the board. I've been watching these statistics for years, and right now this is pretty much the general rule. And that is, if you notice 40 characters, these are not words, but characters, up to 120 characters is where you're going to get the most effect. When you start going beyond that, your effectiveness of your post diminishes. However, when they continued this study, they found that when you start getting up to 281 characters, remember, we're not talking words, but 280 to 400 plus, all of a sudden, the number of clicks that you get increases again. So between 40 and 120, when it comes to short copy, and then between 280 to 400 plus when it comes to long copy. Anything in between pretty much is a waste based upon the studies. Now, NPR went a step further, and what they did was they treated all the clicks in the same way that Facebook treats what they call the click-through. Those are the impressions, and I'll explain the difference between the two in a second. And what they found is that when you click all, lump the two together, you still find that the long copy outperforms the short copy. However, I'm going to highly recommend you use both long and short copy. Now, like I stated, short copy should be between 40 and 120 characters, not words, and you need to include your link. Long copy should be between 280 to 400 plus characters, not words. And in a long copy, you should include your link multiple times throughout the post. Now, when writing long copy, understand, never write more than is necessary. Don't just write long to be long, okay? Write what is necessary to get the point across. If you can write a story, especially rags to riches stories in our particular niche, those are very effective. However, when you write your copy, especially when you're dealing with long copy, remember, humor, controversy, education, and inspiration still works best. Now, you need to post at least twice a day if you want to really focus on free traffic. Now, you can buy traffic, you can buy ads, you can buy leads through our back office. We have paid leads you can purchase. If you want to accelerate your marketing, you're going to pay for your leads. But if you cannot afford to pay for leads, then you got to rely on the free marketing. So you got to discipline yourself to post consistently at least twice a day. You always want to use the larger images or short videos, and you want them to be the square type. Those are the most effective. Always add your link. Now, when you post in groups, you have to obey the group rules. Some groups, like our Now Lifestyle group or our Pure Leverage group, if you belong to both, you cannot post links. Well, in the Pure Leverage, you can post a link if it's to your blog, theoretically. So now you got to be a little clever. So when we start getting into tactics, and I touched upon that a little bit in last week's lesson, we'll talk about how you can still get the advantage of creating, increasing your reach, increasing the number of eyeballs, and still at the same time getting your links into your messages. When you're marketing, mix it up. Have some long copy and some short copy. If you have to focus on the free, you must be patient. It takes a long time. But one of the things you're going to find is that your Facebook posts are picked up by Google, okay? Don't try to worry about SEO or keywords. Google will pick them up. When someone is searching for something that you're writing about, it will pop up in the search engines. So that is by itself very powerful. And there's another feature in Facebook where you can increase your effectiveness with Google, and that is with notes, but that's a little bit more advanced, and we'll talk about that in further training. Now, there's one more thing that I didn't cover, and I need to make sure I make this clear, and that is when Facebook talks about your clicks, you have what is called, well, let me demonstrate. I'm going to switch to screen mode so I can show this to you. Otherwise, it won't be clear. I'm going to switch to desktop. Now, here is a long post. You see here where it says see more. Any links that are above this part, Facebook will treat as in what they call your click-through rate. However, the links that appear below here, as you notice, this is a long copy, and there's some links in the top. Normally I have more links in here than this, but here I have one at the bottom. Okay. These links that come after the see more are counted as other clicks. And just so you can see, Facebook showed this particular post to 1,410 people. That's unheard of for a page with only like 500. Well, this one has about 1,000 likes, maybe a little more, but still, you don't get that kind of reach anymore unless you're doing some of the things that I'm showing you. Let me pick another one right quick. Let's see. Here's another one. This had a reach of 1,454 people. You don't have to get a lot of people to like and share, but you need to have some. Here I didn't put a link above the fold, what I should have, but you'll see that when you click the see more, it's the long copy and it's below. So the links that are below the see more are counted as other clicks. Those that are above the see more are counted as in what they call the click-through rate. So that's the distinction between the two when you were looking at the part where I was talking about click-through rates versus other clicks. And this is, you need to know this because when you go through your insights, you're going to learn how they're tracking. Now, one thing that I mentioned before was that Facebook has a business manager. This particular page is under Facebook's business manager, and you'll always know it's under business manager because the bar at the top is going to be gray. If it's a regular post, it's going to be blue. This is my now lifestyle page. It is not under the business manager. These are some samples of what I mean by short videos. This is a short video that I did. Okay, and here I have captions. If you see the text down there, it's playing while he's making his motions, and I have captions because it's in silence. If I turn on the sound, you should be able to hear it. I have the sound off so I don't get an echo, so you should be able to hear. And I'm going to turn that off. And maybe I'll show one more. This is another short video. On this one, I didn't really use captions because it's basically a quote. However, I do have a little music that goes with it. Okay. All right. That's really the end of the training. Like I said, the trainings are going to be really short. Does anyone have any questions about what we just went through today? And this one I did record, and hopefully it'll come out okay, and I will repost it in my group and in Gregory's group. And Mike, yes, I'll place the link. However, I have to upload it before. I don't know where I have to upload the video. I'm recording it on my computer right now. You'll find the recording in my group, which is the GVO Mastermind group, and you also will find it in Gregory's group, which is the gosh, my mind went blank. Anyone remember the name of Gregory's group? Internet Fitness Entrepreneur. The name of his group is Fitness Entrepreneur. So it'll be posted in those two groups. Any other questions? Did you get the answer to your question, Michael? Okay. Anyone else has any questions? Absolutely, Mike. I'm doing this primarily for new people and for people who tell me they have no money and they can't afford to buy the leads. I will tell you the most effective way is to buy leads. That's fast. But if you can't buy leads, you need to go for the organic. And even if you're buying leads, you still need to do this because it'll help build your credibility, and it will still help you to get signups. For instance, I just recently got a sign up from something that I did weeks and weeks ago. So when you make these posts, they're going to stay. They're going to be there. You never know who's going to find them. Okay, one more time. Does anyone have any questions? And if you don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and take my dinner break. So one more time. Anyone have any questions?